What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be ranking all 9 of The Flash's seasons from worst to best. So starting at number 9, and no doubt the worst season of the show, is Season 7. This season was awful. This was a terrible season. The Forces storyline to start off the season was just awful. I mean, you did have the 3 Mirror Monarch episodes, just finishing that stuff up, which was boring in the first place. There might have been like one good episode in that storyline there, but you know, this Forces storyline was just terrible. There's nothing good about that. Then you had the interlude episodes, again, just terrible. And then the Godspeed stuff to end the season was so disappointing. There wasn't anything that really stood out to me as being amazing, you know, in that Godspeed storyline. I could go on and on about how, you know, disappointing that Godspeed storyline was. So yeah, Season 7, I would give a 3 out of 10. Maybe that's even a little bit generous. Maybe a 2.5, 2 out of 10, something along those lines. But yeah, Season 7, absolutely terrible season, and it is well deserved to be at the bottom of this list. So now at number 8, it's sad to say, but Season 9 is the second worst season of the show. The final season of the show is the second worst. So yeah, this season, incredibly disappointing. The Red Death was not that good of a villain to start off the season, but the main thing about this season and why it was so bad is because Eric Wallace decided that this show was not called The Flash, it was called Everyone But The Flash. It's just so ridiculous. The final season of The Flash, some episodes don't even have him in it, which is just terrible. I don't know why you'd think that's the way to go. I mean, even the actor Grant Gustin, you know, expressed some frustration that he wasn't in some of the episodes. So it's just so disappointing that this had to be the final season of The Flash and we had to have Eric Wallace run it. There were 2 good episodes in the season. Episode 9, where Oliver Queen returned, and then Episode 10, where we have that full circle moment where Barry goes back to that night. So yeah, really only 2 good episodes. I'd give this season a 4 out of 10. I mean, it was cool to see those villains return in the final episode, but yeah, other than that, and you know, those other 2 episodes, not much good stuff happening in this season whatsoever. So yeah, I'd say Season 7 and Season 9 are the only 2 that are seasons that are like really bad. But we're going to go on to number 7, which is Season 5. Now, this season wasn't exactly that bad. I actually did enjoy this season just because, you know, the characters were all great. Like, unlike now, the side characters were great in Season 5. But yeah, anyways, Cicada was never really that good of a villain. The only thing that this season has going for it that made it a, you know, actually decent season is the Reverse Flash stuff happening in the background. Of course, the crossovers are always great as well, but the Reverse Flash stuff was so great in this season. Even though it is Tom Cavanaugh wearing, or, you know, portraying the Reverse Flash, which still doesn't make much sense, I think that he did a great job in this role, and his master plan, you know, ending Season 5 really made this season, you know, a lot better than it could have been. And you know, connecting all that to Barry and his rivalry with Thawne was great in this season. Nora West Allen was a little bit annoying, and you know, everything else was pretty average about the season. So yeah, nothing too amazing about this season, but like I said, the Reverse Flash kind of carries this season. So now at number 6, I have Season 8. And I've actually changed my ranking here. It used to be Season 4 I had worse than Season 8, but after I've rewatched The Flash, Season 8 is a little bit worse than Season 4 just because they still emphasize like side characters like Allegra, Chester in this season. But this season did have a lot of great things. You had Armageddon. I thought that was a really great storyline. And then, you know, they had a couple interludes which are very forgettable. But yeah, the Deathstorm stuff I thought was actually really well written and actually, you know, portrayed pretty well just because they really put Caitlin into the show with that storyline. They had Ronnie Raymond return. So I thought that was especially good about Season 8 and, you know, the Deathstorm stuff. Then you had the negative stuff at the end, which, I mean, it was cool to see Matt Letcher return as Eobard Thawne, even if he was like a good version of Eobard Thawne. Some people say they wasted his character. I don't exactly think they wasted his character, but I would have much rather seen him as the villain opposed to Tom Cavanaugh playing the villain. But yeah, I think, you know, there was a lot of things wrong with especially the season finale of Season 8. So yeah, it wasn't that bad of a season 8, but it was just kind of a rocky road in some of the areas. But yeah, overall, not too bad of a season. I'd give Season 8 probably about a 6.5 out of 10. So now at number 5, I actually have Season 4, and, you know, after rewatching The Flash, Season 4 was taken for granted. Man, that is a better season than I remember it being. There was a lot, it was really consistent besides the Thinker, like, changing bodies all the time. It was a really entertaining season, I'm not going to lie. There was one of the best episodes of all time, of course, is in that season, Enter Flash Time, and that was a fantastic episode. And the season as a whole really wasn't that bad. The Thinker is a very good villain when played by Neil Sandilands. And yeah, overall, I did not think that this season was as bad as I thought. So yeah, I'd give season 4 maybe a 7.5 out of 10, somewhere around there. So now at number 4, I have season 3. Again, I believe, in my opinion, a season we took for granted. Savitar really is a good villain, and a lot of people don't like, the dark tone that season 3 had. I actually really enjoyed that. I thought they did that very well. The rest of the show is really lighthearted, but then you have season 3, which is a bit darker, which I actually did enjoy. Savitar's, identity reveal did come a little bit late in the season, but that's not a huge deal. But yeah, I thought season 3 rather, was very, very underrated, and I would actually give it about an 8 out of 10. Now at number 3, I have season 6, and a lot of you guys might be surprised that season 6 is this high, but of course, starting off season 6, you had the Bloodwork storyline, which I think we can all agree was great. With that leading up to Crisis on Infinite Earths, I thought was actually amazing. That's the last time, besides episodes 9 and 10 of season 9, that I've actually enjoyed, really wanted to watch The Flash, was that first half of season 6 leading up to Crisis. But then you have the Mirror Monarch stuff, and yes, that was boring, but there was also a lot of other stuff going on in the back half of season 6. There was a Grodd episode, there was the Godspeed episode, which was actually really good compared to season 9, or season 7 rather. But yeah, you had the Grodd episode, the Godspeed episode, Reverse Flash storyline, Death of the Speed Force, Kid Flash returned. All that stuff was really great in the back half of season 6, which is why the Mirror Monarch storyline, while it was boring, wasn't the only thing going on, and I really liked that about the season. So season 6 I would also give about an 8 out of 10. And then the top 2 are pretty self-explanatory. Number 2 is season 2. A lot of people think this could be number 1. I wouldn't be mad if you said this was number 1. Season 2, I think, is fantastic. Zoom's such a scary villain, and even though they did do him very dirty when he returned, I think that this version of Zoom is amazing. Of course, you had him pretending, Jay Garrick, aka Hunter Zolomon, in the season, and he was obviously fooling Team Flash the entire time, just like season 1. And I think even though it was a little bit of repetition, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Every episode was great, pretty much, in this season. So yeah, season 2 I would give a 9 out of 10. And then, of course, at number 1, I have season 1. This season is no doubt the most consistent of the show. Every episode I really, really enjoyed. It had me on the edge of my seat the first time I watched season 1. So yeah, of course, Eobard Thawne pretending to be Dr. Wells, pretending to be paralyzed, and then revealed as the Reverse Flash was genius. I loved how they did that. And of course, with Barry, the Reverse Flash killing his mother, all that stuff going into season 1, I thought was basically perfect, and I would give this season a 9.5, maybe even a 10 out of 10. Season 1 was just amazing. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your own ranking of your Flash seasons. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.